When the Sands Casino opened its doors in 1951 in Vegas, Jack Dragna, who was the head of the LA mob, he sees all these mobs from New York, Chicago moving into Vegas, building things. He doesn't really have the money to get involved, but he feels it's my backyard. I should be involved. So he goes to New York. He talks to Tommy Brown Lucchese. He says, "Look, I'm going to move in on the Jews." That was his words. Uh, and since they're all mafia, Lucchese, well, what are you going to do? That's life. He backs him up. He gives him the okay. So Dragna sends one of his guys over there, Jimmy the Weasel Fratiani, who would later, as a boss, would later turn informant, to rough up a guy named Mo Sedway, who was Lansky's representative at the Flamingo. Um, by the way, Mo Sedway is 5 feet tall, 130 pounds. Um, he's the gopher to Lansky out west, but he's arrogant with power. He's abusive to the people under him. Really unlike Meyer Lansky completely. Sedway was widely disliked among the Italians that he shared the strip with. So Fradiano catches up with him when Sedway's at the Wilshire Hotel in LA, and he's trying to flag down a cab. Fradiano grabs him from behind, swings him around by the neck. He says, "Moe, I want to tell you something, you motherfucker. You better walk straight around Vegas, because the next time I'm going to blow your fucking head off." And then he backhanded Sedway across the mouth, and he draws blood. And Sedway says, "Understand, what's the matter with you? Leave me alone." He says, Fratiano says, "Remember, you better walk straight." So it's basically a Sicilian message that Sedway doesn't get, but Lansky gets immediately. 5 days later, Doc Starcher, Lansky's other representative in Vegas, gets a visit from Jimmy the Weasel Fratiani. Starcher has come across in mob history as sort of this docile guy. He wasn't. He was a dangerous punk. He was a hood from Jersey. He had arrests for assault and battery, robbery, rape, burglary, bootlegging, hijacking, suspicion of murder. It just goes on. He was a bad guy. He worked mostly in Jersey under Longley Zwillman, and he was a power in Newark politics as well. Then Lansky picked him to oversee the building of the Sands in Vegas. So Fratiano's got him now. And he traps him between some glass doors at the entrance of the Sands. And he lets him out. He says, "Listen, you motherfucker, I want to tell you something. You're around here high rolling like a fucking big shot. You better do the right thing." And then he backs him across the mouth and draws blood out of him. He says, "You better walk straight, and this time I'll blow your fucking head off." This Fratiano then beats him up. I guess Fratiano had one routine he liked: "I'll blow your fucking head off, walk straight." So Starcher, he's also a small guy, but he's tough. But there's nothing he can do. You know, he can't punch Fratiano. Fratiano's a made member of the Mafia. They'll kill you for that. So he can't even defend himself. Lansky then goes to Tommy Lucchese. He says, and this is a quote, "What's the matter with that fucking weasel, Jimmy Fratiano? What's his problem? First he whacks Moe Sedway, and then he whacks Doc Starcher. He told him to walk straight or he'll blow their heads off. Listen, Tommy, these guys are my fucking family. What does the weasel think he is anyway?" Lucchese says, "Well, you know, Meyer, he's their top guy out there. He's done a lot of work for LA, and they're fucking starving out there." Lansky says, "So they're putting the arm on us. Is that what this is?" Lucchese doesn't want to commit. He says, "Listen, Meyer, that's their country out there. You're in their country. Don't forget that." Lansky blows his top, which was rare. He was a composed guy. He says, "That's open country out there. They got no right to smack my people." Lucchese was a very calm guy. He says, "Look, Meyer, you want to start a fucking war? They've got to make a living out there, our people. What do they care about an open country? Vegas is in their backyard. Vegas is their backyard." It took about a year to work out, but in early 1954, Lansky gets hold of Dragna, and he says, "Look, you can buy into the Flamingo for 125,000, but Dragna, he didn't respond. He did move in on all of, not completely, but moved in on a partnership with Lansky's Vegas casinos.